Because if we say one person here in the panel has said that we get into situationship to solve our financial, issues.
Yes.
But now, how about if I argue that I can get into a situationship because I do not want to commit to this lady, simply because of my financial maybe
status.
Yeah, status. Because you see, most of the people, they come into situationship because they want to make the relationship open. You understand? Because having you as my girlfriend means that every other month you want to make your hair, I am the boyfriend. You understand? But now being in a situationship, I will always have to remind you that I'm not your boyfriend. You understand? We have nothing. So you are trying to, in other factor, you are trying to evade the financial responsibilities, but in other end, there is a person who is also chasing the same thing. So it is sort of a confusion within this dating arena. But personally, I think confusion won't heal either. Because one of the reasons why people get into situationship, as my friend said here, is maybe it's the fear of being hurt or it is the trauma from the past relationship. And my friends here, if we could be truthful, how do you always feel when Google Photos remind you of a partner you ever you ever had maybe 3 years ago? Or, you understand? So every other time, you want to get into a next relationship when you had that particular, so you always remember, what if I commit and it turns out to be the other, like the other one from the previous end? Or for example, there could be some people who want to display their relationship, on social media. And then now, we've already known you, we've branded you as you are a best couple, perfect couple. And then all of a sudden, it turns out to be the other way. So that is actually, so it is sort of a confusion, and personally, I won't advocate for people to, opt for situation, because none actually is going to solve it. Because if you are in a financial, your financial situation is not maybe comfortable, you can find a partner who can understand. And in fact, being clear, making clarity of your situation, yourself, it commands a sense of direction and responsibility to your own self, so that you don't try to evade responsibility, but you have to face. You are even going to get the right person. But every other time you are trying to helter-skelter from this point, you are confusing yourself. And this dating, every other time you try to run from this, there are always consequences, which maybe we've not discussed here. You might contract diseases. Some other, religion tell us that it is spiritual connections and
soul
stuff.
Ties.
Yeah, soul ties. So you end up, you are inviting spirits into your life. You destroy your life, and sort of you might end up, being a baby daddy. We've seen so many people maybe on the internet having a lot of baby mamas, and they have had to live on their own. You see, you are aiding into I cannot say they are living best life, maybe they can themselves say, but they have always consequences. You make a small decision, maybe for the sake of trying to evade a particular issue, but you create a loophole for the worst effects. Yeah.
All right, very well said. Now, Josh, fear of being alone or fear of commitment in a situationship, which is which?
Fear of commitment. Per se, I can say I will kindly slightly disagree with what they are talking about when it comes to finance and something. I can say like it's about the finance thing that has made people so much not to get into a relationship, because it's not like back in the days people were so financially stable.
Yeah.
So I can say, as per now, people are kind of not ready to invest in what they are not so sure in. They are not so sure if the lady they are having, for example, it's a guy, they are not so sure of this lady, if she's there to get through life with me, or they are there just for the moment, you see. So you can say people would be afraid to commit to it because they are not so sure if it will really work or it's just for the good vibes and the time or maybe getting a partner for the moment. Yeah.
Josh, what is wrong with just giving your all? If it works out, it works. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. What is wrong with that? If you're saying people have this fear that maybe it might not work out after, of course, pouring all these, you know, financial, mental, emotional, everything into this particular relationship, then what is wrong with just giving your all? What if it works out?
So I think people have that notion of the past relationships. They'll refer to it of how it ended, and maybe they are not ready to get back to where they were. Yeah, so that's why they are not ready to give it all or invest in it, considering that if this is where I'll end up in, then I'm not ready to get there once again. Yeah.
So trauma from past relationships. We'll be getting into that kidogo, but let's hear from Cornelius. Fear of commitment or fear of being alone. What would you say is the reason as to why people have normalized situationships so much?
The people have normalized into situationships because of fear of commitment. You know, it's fear of being alone is better than fear of commitment nowadays. You see, when you
why
are
not just be alone, Cornelius?
Yeah, you can just be alone and enjoy life.
But why get into situationships? You can just be alone.
Yes.
Why get into a situationship when you can just be alone?
Okay, you can be alone if you can't get into situationships, but you know, there is that anxiety, that feeling that sometimes the body is not okay. You need someone close to you. It leads to you getting to situationships. But the fear of commitment is leading to more to these situationships more than relationships. Because, for example, I as a man, sometimes I cannot feel well being committed to someone, and yet let me say financially unstable, because that's a commitment. Another thing, I will be committing my time to someone. You know, there is that perspective that when you are dating, you need to give me time, you need to do this to me. And most of the men, we are so much busy in doing some other things.
Women are not busy.
Yeah, women.
Wacha mambo yako, wewe.
Most of the women, you know, aren't busy. And most of the women, when they are in a relationship, they will be needing more time from you. And that time that they are needing from you is the time that I, as a man, I'm trying to build myself and search for greener pastures. Then a lady is telling you that I need you to commit your time to me. And I'm also committing my time to some other tangible things. So it's better if be in a situationship whereby there is no need for me to give you time. It's when you have a feeling or you want to be with me, you come, you spend time with me, and you leave. I'm not committing myself to you. But when you get into a relationship, there is that commitment. That's the fear that people have, and it has led to the situationship, which is growing. And you know, when you are in a situationship, none of you is understanding that am I in a situationship or in a relationship, because there is no that connection from you, that emotional connection and feelings. You don't have feelings for each other. You're just there to cope with the situation that you are in. Yeah.
Today our lover boys are not on set. Like